Welcome to Trade Talk, the podcast where construction pros connect, share, and grow. Brought to you by Contractors Connect, this show dives into real-world issues facing today's builders on and off the job site.
Whether you're swinging a hammer, running a crew, or scaling a business, we've got the insights, stories, and expert tips to help you level up in the building industry.
I'm Sarah White.
And I'm Erin Bacher. And together, we'll be talking shop with industry leaders, tradespeople, and innovators who are shaping the future of construction.
Let's get to work. This is Trade Talk. Welcome back to Trade Talk, the podcast where we bring together the people in the building industry. I'm your host, Sarah.
And I'm Lindsay. And today we're talking about how we are incorporating wellness into the building industry.
Yeah, so we're talking about how what we build actually impacts the people living inside these houses and working inside these offices. So I'm excited because we have Bekah Wagner on. She is with Corcoran Reverie, and she is also a WELL Accredited Professional. So she is a pro in all of the things that we can do to make our buildings healthier.
Yep. She is really a wellness expert and kind of at the intersection of construction and incorporating wellness into that. So I'm excited to learn from her.
Me too. Let's jump in. If you're in the construction industry and your marketing feels more like a punch list than a plan, it might be time to call in the pros. At Bespoke Consulting, we help contractors and construction businesses get noticed with branding that builds trust, websites that convert, and marketing strategies that actually move the needle. Want to grow your business without wasting time or money? Start with Bespoke. Learn more at bespokeconsulting.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Bekah. We have so many things to learn from you, I feel like. So the first thing I want to ask is, how did you find yourself in this space of wellness and real estate development?
Oh man, a little bit of a loaded question because my story's a little long, but I'll take you back to Hurricane Michael. So I used to work with my now husband, at the time boyfriend, doing content creation, and we got hired by the Gulf County TDC to film the aftermath of Hurricane Michael. And the point of those videos was to be like, oh, hey, we're rebuilding. We want everybody to come back and see us. So we filmed directly afterwards, and then 3 months later came back to film their rebuilding efforts. And so with that, I started looking around and I was like, oh my gosh, we are rebuilding the exact same thing that we just saw get flattened.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
So that was my first spark. Fast forward, got into real estate, went to my brokers and was just like, I don't understand why we keep building the same thing over and over again, watch it get destroyed, and then build it again. And so if we are going to be building, can we make it more resilient? Can we make it more eco-friendly? This and that. And they're like, listen, I love it, behind you 100%, but, I don't really know what all that means. So you take full reins and we're behind you. So I was like, okay. So that's sort of how I got into, I guess, the wellness real estate side. I've always had a fascination with how our bodies can heal itself when given the right tools. And so with COVID and all of that happening, as most people did, everyone started looking at what we're putting on our bodies, what we're putting, food labels in our bodies, on our bodies, but we weren't paying attention to the one environment that we're spending 90% of our time in, which is our homes.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so that's how I got started into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, we were just talking about, we were recently at the IBS conference, and they had a ton of new vendors that we were seeing that are incorporating wellness into their brands. So
Yeah.
it was awesome. What does it mean to be a WELL Accredited Professional?
Yeah, so are y'all familiar with WELL certified buildings?
No.
Okay, all right, awesome. Yeah. So it's basically buildings that support the well-being of the human living inside it. And that can be anything from natural ventilation, natural lighting, the materials, encouraging movement. So an example being putting the stairs where you can see those easier than the elevator, to encourage people to use the stairs. So it can be anything like that. So now what I've done with being a WELL AP recently, by the way, super excited about that. But I'm now able to consult on that level of how you could become a WELL certified building. And I think that that's becoming more and more important because, as we were saying, more people are paying attention to health
sure.
now. And you talking about going to a conference and seeing more of the wellness coming on. Well, a lot of builders are using wellness as features and amenities, not necessarily building the home with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where sort of the WELL comes in, is how can we build the home? It doesn't mean just cold plunges and saunas.
Right.
It actually means like EMF
Using the right
mitigation and the
products.
materials. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It sort of encompasses all of that.
Do we have any buildings in our area that are meeting these standards?
Oh, I'm so excited. Glad you asked, because we actually have the first one that I know of anyways that I'm now consulting on called Costera, and it's over in 30A.
Okay.
So it is the first that I know of from Panama City to Pensacola that is a residential development built with wellness built into it. They are doing EMF shielding, low VOC paints and materials, and of course they've got the cold plunges and the steam showers and all of that. So they're actually the first that I know of. Everything else has been wellness community, but they're talking about amenities and features of it versus the build itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I think you're in such a, good spot because like you said, it is coming to light. And I feel like that is what people are wanting to see. I know I used to work in commercial real estate. And so being well accredited, it's, we always had like a specialist on our team that kind of had to, have that background and knowledge. So I think that's great that you're bringing this to this area. Why do you think that the industry has been slow to kind of adopt this concept?
It's new. People are scared of things they don't understand. And it's actually, so out in like California and Colorado, the places you would expect, it is more of a standard. Versus in our area, not so much.
Right.
And I think to sort of go back to how I got into it is because that's my fascination and interest, all of my social media content and algorithm is on that.
Yeah.
So it's on future of cities, future of communities, technology into construction. So for a while I was like, oh, this is all common knowledge. But the more I went to things, I was like, it is not common knowledge.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like super excited for, I think now it's catching on. And again, coming from the COVID situation, but also think about, when people move here, a lot of the times you say, oh, why did you move here? They go, oh, we always vacationed here. Now we want to live here. So same thing happening in the wellness side. People are going to these wellness retreats and traveling and ecotourism and all these things. And they're now realizing that they want that woven into their daily lives and that it is realistic and exists. So I think that's sort of why it's catching on how it is.
Absolutely.
Want to grow your network and your business? Join Contractors Connect, the go-to networking group for professionals in the building industry. For just $400 a year, members get 4 complimentary meetup tickets per year, a featured spot in our online directory, visibility at every Contractors Connect event, and more. Whether you're a contractor, vendor, or service pro, there's a place for you here. Join today at contractors-connect.com/memberships, and let's build something great together.
What are some examples of things in people's homes and buildings that people may not realize are impacting their health?
Oh, great question. The first thing that comes to mind is natural light. It seems so simple, but I've always been surprised at how many times I've walked into places and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so dark and it feels cold.
Yes.
And we've all have walked into places and been like, oh, it feels so nice in here, or the opposite. Oh no, just something feels off. Well, that's nervous system regulation. So it's your nervous system speaking about it first. So we got to start learning to listen to that. So natural light is a huge one. Just open those blinds, open the windows, get some natural ventilation in. As well as paints is another thing, a simple one that people can do. Look at your paints that you're using, and you can look for no VOCs, low VOCs. I have a whole health guide that I've been creating for this exact reason because I've had people ask. But those are the main and simplest things that you can do. And then, of course, you can get into like EMF mitigation and all that, but that comes with a little bit more than a quick, easy fix.
Tell us a little bit more about what you mean can be done for EMF mitigation.
Yeah, so for those, are y'all familiar with EMFs? I'm sure y'all are.
We are, but go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, so electromagnetic fields or frequencies that impact our daily life, and that can come from wireless or just electrical systems within the build. AKA our cell phones, our Wi-Fi, towers, antennas, all these different things. And with our bodies being electromagnetic, we have our nervous system, electrical impulses. Sometimes we can be affected by things that we don't see. And more people are becoming aware of that, especially sleep, because sleep is always the big one that you'll hear people talk about.
Right.
And we spend a third of our lives sleeping, you know?
Yeah. Well, I wish I did.
I know, right? I know. Seriously. It's like, when do we sleep, actually? So with that being said, the bedroom is the most important place to think about that. I'm very big on like not having TVs in the bedroom, making sure that your router is not near your bedroom. Right. If you have the option, do direct Ethernet connection. So that way you don't have all of the, I'm trying to think of the word, but basically, excess energy, dead energy, leftover energy, whatever, that comes off of those systems. And even plugs. So some people are very concerned about even how their bed is facing and where the plugs are that are in their rooms. Now with the building I was talking about earlier, they are doing copper mesh into the walls. So that's going to be the EMF shielding. Wow. And that's more coming from outside. Now taking that consideration though, there comes trade-offs, because if you are going to do something like that, know that your signal in the bedroom probably won't be as good cell phone signal, right? But a lot of people that are concerned with that, they're not taking their cell phones into their room anyways.
Right, unless you have a teenager who's
right, exactly. Hey, maybe that could be a parent hack. Yeah. Just put copper mesh in there. Be like, you can't, I'm sorry you don't have service in there.
Yeah, I don't know why nobody wants to talk to you.
Exactly. So those are some little things that you can do.
Awesome.
Okay. And then so for builders listening, what are some shifts that they can make that are maybe not monumental, but little things they can start incorporating into their new projects? Yeah.
So I would, and I'm thinking like builders, architects, and all of this, looking at the design of the home and how it's facing with the sun. The sun is so important. Again, talking about natural lighting. So making sure that you have even the home oriented, if you can, because I know some things are already put in stone, but if you can, look at the natural lighting, make sure you have enough natural ventilation is another huge one. But I think for builders in particular, look at the materials that you're using. I'm very, I have a frustration with, we frame the house and then I watch it get rained on for like a month. And then we throw up the drywall, which is already mold food anyways. So I just have a big frustration with that of, I don't think people are being mindful, and I get it. We have a housing crisis. We had to go quick, and I get it. But we're going quick to the detriment of the human living inside of it, and that's sort of my frustration. So allowing that time for the wood to dry out. Make sure you do every bit of mold mitigation that you possibly can, because every expert that I talk to in like mold or water leak detection and things like that, that's always their thing, is like, if they would have just done it correctly, just take your time. And if they would have just waterproofed or got someone to come in and look for the waterproofing, and we could have avoided X, Y, Z. So I think that would be my thing, is stop rushing. Like, remember that there's someone living in that home. They're going to be living and breathing and raising a kid in that home. And so we really should be caring more about how we build it.
I really wish my husband's a builder, and so I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's tough in Florida. I mean, it's humid, it does rain, and that it's inevitable. However, like you said, you can mitigate it before you start throwing that drywall up. But I do wish, maybe the city would add that in. I mean, he's going to kill me for saying this, but like that
I won't tell him.
That could be,
I think she knows somebody at the city.
I know. Maybe
a person or two.
But thinking about inspections that these builders have to call in, I mean, maybe that should be part of, like, let's start caring about the people, like you said, that are going to be inhabiting these houses. And I think Drew's going to kill me.
But I mean, because even a lot of like bigger builders, they don't even want outside inspectors coming in, which to me is a massive red flag. But I'm totally with you. So one of my big things for the past 5 years, I always say that I've just been 5 years in the fetal position, basically trying to do this. But one of those things has been to change the building standards for the state of Florida. And that right there is a perfect thing to add to. Is just like, how about we add in the waterproofing inspections and make it a must, not a maybe.
Right.
You know, on those lines, though, I mean, it's going to have to trickle down, though, to like the mortgage industry and the people providing the loans for
insurance
and loosening up on these tight time frames of like, you have to build this house in 9 months. And so, I mean, they're bound by having to get the funding for it. I mean, so it's going to take some efforts on even people you're not thinking about, but I think it would be a great change.
I mean, everything is a holistic perspective, and I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing that word at this point, but it's so true because we are all connected, and the building industry is no different. And from the amount of contractors and experts that I've talked to, every single time it never fails that they will all say, well, if they would have brought me in here, we could have avoided this.
Right.
You know, and people say, oh, building a home is the most stressful thing. But why is it the most stressful thing? And it's no one's talking to each other.
Yeah.
And so I think if we could just create like a beautiful ecosystem, like you're saying, it would make it less stressful, but also get everybody on the same page to where they understand, you know, what we need to do and how can we do it for the human. I think that's what we forgot as we went so far into let's make money, let's do it cheap, let's do it quick. But you're forgetting about the human that's living inside of it. And, you know, oh, we got to build cheaper, use cheaper materials and all this.
Right.
No, the cost isn't going anywhere. It's just deferred.
Yeah.
So, like, we can pay for it on the front end, or we can pay for it with insurance premiums, with energy bills for not, you know, and also medical bills for living in a toxic environment. So it's all connected. And I think if we just stop rushing and, like, take a step back and, like, look at it and everybody get on the same teams, same team, come on, everybody, then I think it would be a lot better. But, I mean, I know that there are hurdles with that because of the crisis that we're in right now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on it, but my next question was going to be what's your perspective on the cost? And obviously, I know the cost comes in the end for us that are living in these toxic environments. But for somebody building a new home, I mean, what kind of can they expect as far as a premium that they would pay for these types of materials to incorporate into the building?
It depends on what they're doing. And I know every question can be like, it depends. But it does. It depends if they're doing like CMU block or if they are doing traditional stick build. I always lean more towards CMU block just because of our area, you know, but even with concrete, it has its limitations. It absorbs moisture, you know, so that one's a little sticky. But as far as the cost for like materials and paints and all of that, and for making it more, because I'm going to go into like the hurricane proof, hurricane resilient, even adding the extra straps and all that kind of stuff. I know that the guy down in, I believe it was Port St. Joe, when the hurricane came through, he had basically spent $20,000 extra is what it came down to for like the hurricane resiliency. But he had the only house left standing. Yeah, so it's
that's
sort of
pretty worth it.
Exactly, it's sort of worth it. So it just depends on what it's worth to you, because either, you know, same thing with buying a traditional home. Do you want to bring more to the closing table and have a less monthly payment, or vice versa? And it's sort of the same thing with building. Like, do you want to spend more on the front end, you know, having that peace of mind, or do you want to do it as cheap as humanly possible and now create a whole ripple of effects? You know, so I don't know if that really answered your question, but I feel like it depends on what you're doing to it, and how important it is to you.
Quick break to tell you about Blueprint, the luxury annual guide to remodeling, construction, and design for the Emerald Coast. Blueprint helps your business get in front of homeowners who are actively planning high-end projects. Through a beautifully curated print publication plus digital and social exposure. If you want your brand seen by homeowners before they choose a builder, designer, or trade partner, now's the time. Ad space is limited and the deadline to reserve is May 1st. Learn more at contractors-connect.com/blueprint. So let's talk a little bit more about the kinds of things people can add into new construction homes that support the humans living there.
Yeah, okay. So features. So cold plunges is a huge one right now. So I think everybody and their mom has been trying to get those. Steam showers is a big one, but I'm going to give a asterisk with steam showers. If you are looking to do steam showers, please, please, please make sure you are doing mold mitigation. If you are going to have a steam shower, you need to have the exhaust fan that is automatic. It senses the humidity and knows when to turn on and off. Because I am the first to say that when I get out of the shower, I'll like turn off the vent immediately, knowing that that's the best time it needs to be on. So if you are going to do steam showers, and everything has a trade-off, so just make sure if you are doing steam showers that is something you're considering. Some people are doing the in-house saunas. They have the saunas with the red light also incorporated into it. What's my other thing? If you are going to be doing pools, that's fine. I would suggest maybe doing salt water over the the regular chlorinated. It's still chlorine, but it's just different. It's made differently. So that way you don't have as many chemicals going into it. And then let's see, anything else as far as features goes that I'm not thinking of? I'm sure I'll think of it as soon as we leave here. But outside of that, the simple things, as we said earlier, opening your windows. Open the blinds. We're not vampires. We actually need the sunlight. So I know we're taught to be scared of it a lot of times, but you do need a little bit of it. So open that. And another simple one, bringing plants in. Bring plants into your home. That's such a simple one, but it shows you life, and it does so much good for your psychology of that. And another thing is how you're painting your rooms in your house. For instance, my office is covered in flowers and just craziness because that's the space that I want to feel creative and fun and inspired. Whereas the space that I do yoga and meditation is more all neutral and earth colors. So that's another simple thing. And one more thing that I'll add, I keep saying, oh, that's the last, but no, I have more. One last thing is please find a space in your home that is your safe space / stillness space. That can be anything. That can be a single chair. That can be a yoga mat. That can be a little cushion that sits on the floor. But a space that when you go to it, your body automatically starts calming down because it knows that, here I am for my stillness. So, and that is so beneficial. And it's such a simple one that not a lot of people do. I think more and more people are now, but it's such a simple one.
Okay.
Awesome. When you think about the future of construction and development, what is giving you hope these days?
Oh my gosh.
I would say, you're doing a project here locally that's going to be the first of its kind, which is, that's a huge step, at least for us locally. So that's great.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited and super hopeful with the future of construction. And it's because more and more people are waking up to the fact
they're caring.
They're caring. And also being like, oh my gosh, this impacts my health, impacts my family, impacts my life. So when people join together, we can make some really big things happen. So when 5 years ago, when I was talking about this and I felt very alone in it, and even when I would go to Tallahassee, I felt alone. So I wanted to try a different way of, okay, what if we just rallied the people together, educate them on how your home impacts you, and then let the people start asking the questions and start pushing for better development. And now we're getting to that
demand.
Point. And so with wellness real estate as a whole, in 2024 is a $584 billion industry. It's projected to be $1.1 trillion by 2029, $1.6 trillion, some sources are saying, so we shall see. But regardless, that shows that it's not just a trend in real estate, it's a full-blown shift that's happening. And that is what gives me hope about it, because now, I was saying it 5 years ago, not really knowing, it was just my passion. And then now here's the numbers and data backing it up. So that's what brings me
there's
hope.
Definitely been a raise in consciousness about it overall. So I think it's definitely something that's on everybody's radar. So how can people learn more from you about what you do? I know you've got a lot of things going on.
I got a lot of things going on. The quickest and easiest would be Instagram and Facebook are my two. I'm trying to do better about my LinkedIn, y'all, so don't judge me. But anyways, I'm trying to get that up to date. But for the time being, Instagram and Facebook. And so Instagram is at Bekah Wagner, which I'm sure y'all will share. And then same thing with Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we're excited because you're going to be leading a breakout session at our Built to Lead Summit in September. So anybody who wants to learn more can definitely come for that.
Yes.
We're excited, and I think that you've got a lot of great knowledge to share.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited about it. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. I still want to play rapid fire.
Okay,
with
go ahead.
her.
Oh, God,
All right, go
what's
ahead.
that?
We're just going to ask you a question and just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to think too hard.
Okay, all right.
All right. One thing every home should have that most don't.
Oh, natural lighting.
Okay. Most underrated element of a healthy home.
Paints.
Yes.
Overused trend in building right now.
Oh, man. Stick framing.
Okay. A material or feature you wish would disappear.
I would say stick framing in Florida.
Yeah.
Let me
Yes.
specify there.
Yeah.
In Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one word that defines the future of building to you.
Inspirational.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. See, that was easy peasy.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, oh, God, what is it?
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Looking to make powerful connections without another boring networking event? Join us for Contract Her's Courtside Connections, where business meets the court. Friday, June 12th at Coastal Elite Sports in Freeport. Grab a paddle, meet top professionals, and build real relationships in a fun, relaxed environment. Whether you're playing or just connecting, this is networking done differently. Vendor tables are available, but spots are limited. Don't miss it. Courtside Connections, where connections are made in motion. This has been a great conversation, one that we really don't talk about or hear enough about in this industry.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's something that we saw a lot of at the International Builder Show, that this is really coming to the forefront. I'm thinking of Magpie. And of course, we saw lots of saunas and cold plunges. Kohler had a whole range of new things people can put in their house. So it's definitely something I think that's coming to the forefront. And it was interesting talking to Bekah.
Yeah, absolutely. And for our listeners, whether you're a builder or, a home buyer or a developer, this conversation just kind of shows how a small impact can make a big difference.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning into Trade Talk, powered by Contractors Connect, where construction pros connect, share, and grow.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew.
Until next time,
Stay sharp
stay safe.
and keep building.